Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video, we are going Registeel hunting in the Open Ultra League. Registeel with Zap Cannon is absolutely insane. With a 2-shield advantage, it beats every Ultra League Pokemon. Except one. Golurk. So today, equipped with a team of Scrafty, Defense Deoxys, and Golurk, we are looking to make some Registeels miserable. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and get hunting some Registeel. Hopping to the first match, leading Scrafty into Cresselia. This is a really poor lead for us. We have the ability to hit for super effective with foul play, but even tanking one Moonblast is going to put us deep into the red. I'm expecting them to overfarm in this matchup, so I land the foul play, throw a couple counters, I switch when I think they're going to throw, but they do not. They hold on to the energy and we are met with a Alolan Muck. So far, the team is working as intended. The Defense Deoxys save switch has baited out the Dark type, so that way Golurk will not have to face it in the endgame. They go for the Dark Pulse, and that does a significant amount of damage. I'm not going to commit shields in this matchup. I'm just going to try and do as much damage as possible, and then let myself go down, since this is by no means a winning matchup for Defense Deoxys. So I am going to let this go down, and then I'm just going to farm up with Scrafty, as I should be able to leave with a foul play to throw at the Cresselia, and we do win that CMP tie. They're definitely coming back in with the Cresselia. I click on the foul play, and it just doesn't register. I was supposed to win CMP there. I didn't, so I tried and click it again, and they actually catch. They catch onto a Swampert. So honestly, that kind of worked out for me because I definitely do need this damage on Swampert. So we are going to be going for the power-up punch, just trying to do as much damage as possible, and we're able to force a shield. And then we bring in Golurk. We are going to have to double shield the Golurk, but I believe we should be able to farm down here. We do get the move through. That is absolutely massive. They go for the Hydro Cannon, we commit the second shield, Golurk is able to farm down, and back in comes Cresselia. Unfortunately, Shadow Punch is a very weak move, and Cresselia is a very tanky Pokemon, so they can survive one. We should be able to survive any one charge move here. They go for the Grass Knot, that does a significant amount of damage, and it's looking like we are going to be outpaced, so our one win con is we are going to have to try and catch. Throw 2 Mud Slaps, switch, and we're able to catch onto the Scrafty. And based on that catch, we should be able to get the win. Golurk, going for the Shadow Punch, able to get there. We are going to be able to take out the Cresselia. And despite the very poor lead, we are able to get the win. Hopping to the next match, leading Scrafty into Swampert. Pretty neutral lead, and I'm definitely happy to see it here than against my Golurk. So I am going to be staying in and trying to do as much chip damage as possible. We are going straight for the foul play, hoping it will land, but the opponent does commit the shield. The nice thing is that this Swampert is not Shadow. Since it's not Shadow, we can actually comfortably survive 2 Hydro Cannons without needing to shield. So in this situation, I don't have to shield this. I'm going to let that go. We survived that just fine, and we're able to reach foul play number 2, which is going to get them very low unless they give up that second shield. It lands. I go for the snipe with Deoxys. We're not able to snipe. They do get off a Hydro Cannon, but Deoxys tanks that easily. And then they bring in an Ultra League Lugia. What a cool pick. Thankfully, we do have Rock Slide, and Rock Slide will hit for super effective damage, and we actually get the final shield. Honestly, at this point, I'm not going to shield anything on Deoxys. I'm just going to give Golurk 2 shields and see what happens. We're able to connect with the Rock Slide. Even in the Ultra League, Lugia is incredibly bulky. They go for the Sky Attack, and they're probably going to try and commit to the farm down here, but not before we're able to reach a third Rock Slide. This will not KO, but it will get them very, very low. And unfortunately, they will leave with quite a bit of energy. And then I might try and commit to the Mud Slap down with Golurk. Mud Slapping down one of the bulkiest flying types in the meta. Bit of an interesting choice, but here we are. We shield it up, we are going to switch, and we catch what could possibly be the Aeroblast. Please, yes it is. We're able to catch the Aeroblast and deny them all that energy, and the final Pokemon in the back is Walrein, and this is not good, as Icicle Spear does massive damage. We're able to land the Dynamic Punch, which is great, but now we desperately need to get to the Shadow Punch to KO. I am going to shield up the first move. Can we get there? Yes, we can. Golurk is going to be able to take out the Walrein. They have the very low health Swampert and the very low health Lugia in the back. They bring in the Swampert. Swampert gets Mud Slapped down. In comes Lugia. Lugia gets Mud Slapped down. And that is a good game. picking up a pretty nice lead in the next match, Scrafty into Giratina Altered. But unfortunately, this Giratina is actually running Dragon Breath, which does make it a lot scarier of a matchup for Scrafty. I can still win the Zero Shield, which is quite nice, but if shields start being used, that Dragon Breath damage is so oppressive that Giratina can actually win this matchup. So my plan is to shield nothing. I'm going to let both these Dragon Claws through. I should survive the second one on pretty low HP, but enough HP to get to this second foul play. And this will either get me switch advantage or shield advantage. They do commit the shield, and now I aggressive switch into Golurk to commit to a very aggressive farm down. We get the Mud Slap through, I'm going to shield, and hopefully I can farm all the way down. But the opponent switches, and they bring a Registeel into Golurk. This opponent must not know about Golurk's dominance over Registeel, but today they're going to find out. We don't have to shield a thing. They go for Focus Blast. That's totally fine. That's double resisted. Had they gone for a Zap Cannon, double resisted as well. We're able to Mud Slap down and leave with a ton of energy. What is in the back? And it is Cresselia. Fortunately, we are able to hit for super effective damage in this situation. The unfortunate thing is that Cresselia is extremely tanky, so the Shadow Punches, even when super effective, do not hit for a lot of damage. They bring in the Giratina, I try and do as much Mud Slap damage as possible, and then I'm going to bring in the Defense Deoxys and attempt to go for a double resisted counter farm down. Come on, Defense Deoxys. We are able to farm down, and from here, we should be in a pretty decent position. We are just going to start lobbing Rock Slides at Cresselia. They don't have to shield the first. We are going to go for the catch, and we're able to get the catch as well. So at this point, if the writing's not on the wall, it is actively being written. We are going to be going for the Rock Slide, and this should just about be taking them out from this range. They do commit the shield, maybe thinking that this Moonblast will be doing enough damage, but it is not going to be close. They go for the Moonblast, and then they do concede the match. Hopping to the next match, picking up a terrible lead Scrafty into Poliwrath. I am going to farm up 6 counters, and then I am going to be switching into the Defense Deoxys to catch the Dynamic Punch. This does waste a ton of their energy, and then, unfortunately, we do actually bait out Registeel. You might think that a counter user onto a Registeel has to be a good matchup, but unfortunately, Registeel with Zap Cannon is so good that unless Defense Deoxys is running Thunderbolt, Registeel actually comfortably wins this. They go for Zap Cannon number 1, and at this point, a second Zap Cannon is going to be enough to take me out. I'm still going to do as much damage as I can, but things are not looking great for me. This Zap Cannon is going to be more than enough to take me out. But they actually go for a Focus Blast, maybe trying for a Lock-On down. I do not want to get Lock-On farm down, so I actually aggressive switch into Golurk, and we bait out Talonflame. This is a pretty poor matchup. I am able to land the Shadow Punch, but I'm going to commit no shields here and basically just hope that Scrafty will close in the endgame. The opponent actually goes for a Brave Bird, and suddenly I am seeing a win con. If we can ramp up Scrafty here, especially with that Talonflame debuffed, I think we can win this match. Scrafty going for another power-up punch. This will not KO, but after it lands, we should be able to farm down, and then we can probably just counter through the rest of this team. In comes Registeel, down goes Registeel, back in comes the Poliwrath, but now the tables have turned. We are now going to be 3 stages buffed with 2 shields, and the opponent concedes the match. Hopping to the next match, putting Scrafty into Galarian Stunfisk. This is an absolutely fantastic lead. The opponent farms up a bit, and then they save switch into Kanto Muck, and it is Golurk's time to shine. We can commit 1 shield and farm all the way down. I shield the first, as I'm guessing they're less likely to bait on the first, and from here, I'm just going to farm all the way down. Golurk actually survives this Dark Pulse. It does big damage, but we are able to survive, and we farm down. And they bring in Scrafty, and Scrafty may not be ready for Dynamic Punch. Golurk able to land the Dynamic Punch, and that does big damage. We're going for Dynamic Punch number 2. They need to shield if they want to keep the Scrafty alive. Scrafty is able to farm down. I bring in Defense Deoxys, switch into Scrafty, and we're able to catch what should be the foul play. Yes, it is. And from here, we are going to be able to counter down the Scrafty. Back in comes the Galarian Stunfisk, but this game is over. We go for the power-up punch, and the opponent resigns the match. Hopping to the next match, picking up the Nightmare lead Scrafty into Sylveon. We instantly save swap into Defense Deoxys, and we are met with Talonflame. Thankfully, this is a very flippable matchup. We need to do whatever it takes to make sure our Scrafty is not aligned onto their Charmer. We do survive any one move, so I am not going to shield the first move, as they do go for the Flame Charge. I am perfectly fine with that, and then we are going to fire back with a Rock Slide. This will do massive damage if it lands, but they do commit the second shield. So they are recognizing how important it is to keep switch, but I am not going to let that happen. I do commit the shield. Come on, Defense Deoxys, get to the Rock Slide. We are able to get there. This should be taking care of the Talonflame, and that will give us switch advantage. Opponent actually brings back in the Sylveon and concedes the match. Hopping to the next match, and the bad leads continue, Scrafty into Nidoqueen. I save switch into my Defense Deoxys, and I am met with Umbreon. It is definitely nice to bait out the Umbreon, so that way Golurk will not have to face it in the endgame, and now I'm going to do my best to try and flip switch, because if we're able to align Golurk onto that Nidoqueen in the endgame, we should be looking pretty good to get the win. I do survive 2 foul plays, so I am going to let this through. That does get me quite low, but thankfully Snarl does basically no damage. So if they want to try and win switch here, they're going to basically try and have to Snarl me down, because I am more than willing to commit 2 shields as I try and counter them down. I will shield up the move here, and then, just so I don't have to go down 2 shields, I am going to throw the Rock Slide. So this way, I either take switch or get a shield back. They commit the shield as they're recognizing they want to keep switch as well, and we're able to sneak a counter through. That is massive. I can shield this up, the counter KOs the Umbreon, and we leave with a Psycho Boost in case they bring back in Nidoqueen to farm down. But the opponent makes a very nice read. They actually bring in Obstagoon, predicting the blind Psycho Boost, and they're able to absorb that damage. Getting the switch advantage here is absolutely everything, as Scrafty is able to hit for double super effective damage, and when they bring back in the Nidoqueen, which they do here, we have Golurk and the Mud Slap to greet the Nidoqueen. These Mud Slaps are absolutely tearing through Nidoqueen. One Earth Power does not KO, so they actually opt to go for a Poison Fang, and then they're going to be going for the Earth Power after the fact. We go for the Shadow Punch. They know they don't have to shield it, and we're able to get them very low as they reach the Earth Power. Earth Power does not actually KO. We're able to survive on 1 HP, but we're not able to reach the Dynamic Punch. Back in comes Scrafty, and this is going to be close. I go for the Power Up Punch. They do commit the shield. Can we counter down? They do reach a move. This is going to be very close. Cross Chop will be getting us quite low. Can Scrafty clutch this? Yes, it can, and we are able to get the win. Hopping to the final match, leading Scrafty into Talonflame. This is definitely not a great lead for me, as Talonflame isn't a great matchup for either Scrafty or for my Golurk in the back. I am going to go for the foul play. Foul play does land, and then I'm going to bring in Defense Deoxys to hopefully absorb some energy. The opponent farms up to 100 energy. This is probably a Brave Bird. It is, and that does significant damage. And then they bring in Galvantula. This is where having Rock Slide is quite nice, because Rock Slide does hit for some significant damage on the Galvantula, and they do decide to commit the shield. And that works perfectly for me, because we are going to commit to the full farm down with Golurk, as Golurk resists their common charge moves, and we are going to fully farm them down. They're forced to go for Lunge here, but thanks to that Ghost typing, Lunge is resisted, and Golurk is going to be able to absolutely manhandle this Galvantula. We tank the second move, no problem. We farm all the way down, and Golurk leaves with 100 energy. I am debuffed, so I will switch out into the Scrafty, and this is probably another Brave Bird from the Talonflame, so I will commit the shield. It is the Brave Bird, and the final Pokemon in the back is a Shadow Walrein. So we should be in a pretty decent position here. We have a lot of health on Scrafty and an energy lead. We go for the first power-up punch. We can take an Icicle Spear. So I am going to let that through. That was not enough for an Earthquake. And then I'm just going to do what Scrafty does best. I'm going to keep ramping up those counters with power-up punch. They let it through, and they go down. Back in comes the Talonflame. Talonflame is not able to farm down before we reach the foul play. Foul play will force the shield. I'll wait for the Incinerate to register, and then we switch in the Golurk. Golurk able to get off the Shadow Punch. That takes care of the Talonflame, and that is a good game. All in all, I had a ton of fun running Golurk. It's definitely not a Pokemon that I would recommend running if you're looking to climb rank, but I did end up going about even on the day with it. My one regret is that I actually didn't end up seeing a lot of Registeel, which is unfortunate, but the one Registeel we were able to destroy with Golurk was absolutely glorious. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you, as always, to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible, and we have released merch. It's based off opponents seeing the writing on the wall and conceding the match. We do have a link to our merch store in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.